Welcome to the Urban Debate on Magicbricks Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for tuning in. Let's take a look at what's making headlines today. The Maharashtra government puts on hold a circular that directs the police to file FIRs against errant builders for project delays. Developers say such a directive would have made them easy targets. Angry home buyers now wait for the government to decide. Meanwhile, our relentless campaign against rampant project delays in the Delhi NCR region yields results. The Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar will meet home buyers in Gurgaon for a third time on Thursday. And in Pune, new development control rules could give developers wings to go higher. The proposed rules will allow developers to construct taller buildings, but at a price. That's a Magicbricks Now exclusive. Another Magicbricks Now impact after we highlighted the pain caused to citizens in Mumbai by potholes 24 hours ago. The Mumbai Civic Body Commissioner Ajay Mehta announces an ambitious solution. Potholes will be repaired within 48 hours of the BMC receiving your complaint. But our big debate tonight is about project delays. The Maharashtra Police DGP issued a circular on the 3rd of July asking police stations across the state to proactively register FIRs against errant developers. The move that even Chief Minister Fadnavis believed to be a good move. But 2 days ago, just after 2 days, a circular was sent out has been put on hold. Waiting for the Maharashtra Urban Development Ministries nod, we're told the ministry will review the circular before it can be implemented. Just a whiff of this one-page-long circular from the Maharashtra Police has sent developers into a tizzy. Home buyers say such a stern circular was much needed. Several home buyers, in fact, who reached out to us say they have to approach the police repeatedly. They're turned away because the police refuse to file FIRs. On the other hand, this circular now is doing the rounds with developers who are concerned. Developers say the proposed FIR solution for project delays will make them easy targets for both the police and buyers for misuse. Tonight on my Power Pack panel, we have a healthy mix of all the different arguments on the either side of this case. I'm going to give you a quick introduction of everybody on the debate. Rajan N Bandelkar is the president of NAREDCO West. Rohit Gera, managing director, Gera Developments, joins us from Pune. YC Pawar, former Joint Commissioner of Police, joins us in the studio. Hemang Jariwala and Avikshit Moral are both lawyers who've been representing cases for buyers. Shirish Deshpande is the advocate and the chairman of the Mumbai Grahak Panchayat. Ramesh, Prabhu, chairman of the Maharashtra Societies Welfare Association. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Hemang, I'm going to start with you. We've had these conversations many times when you've been in the studio. We've had buyers who've called us and said that they had to wait 6 months and make repeated trips to the police station before their FIRs were filed. How are you seeing this circular? Do you believe that this is what the market needed?
Absolutely. I feel that this is a very, very positive step because under section 154 of CRPC, where there is a cognizable offence such as cheating, the FIR needs to be registered by the police, inquired into, and thereafter much needed arrest has to be done if there is things to be followed. What used to happen is that whenever a person would have felt cheated, either the money was taken, agreements were not executed, or promised 1500 square feet and 1000 square feet was given, no plans were disclosed. Under Maharashtra of Ownership Act 1963, there are offences which are categorically stated. And since 1963, it is documented and a private complaint could be filed. So
here's my question, Hemang. If this was around since 1963, what was the need for a circular? What is the circular telling us that we don't already know?
Correct. The Act had provided, CRPC had provided for cognizable offence for FIRs to be registered. Problem only was that when a flat purchaser moved to a police station, requested them to file an FIR, either they would sue them by saying that it is a civil matter, go to the civil court, or they would say, go under MOFA and file a private complaint. And that is the reason why this circular, is a very positive step, giving a direction to the police. Please don't push away the flat purchasers, don't shoo them away, but register the FIR which is permitted by law.
YC Pawar, why does the police need a circular from the DGP to tell them to do their jobs?
It's an irony that such circulars has to be issued. The law is very clear. Police, if there is a law and if they are not taking action, what damn they care for the circular? Unless the proper actions are taken against the defaulting officers. Earlier there used to be, for working offence, people were dismissed from the service. Nowadays, it's taken like nothing happens like that. So it's a very simple this thing that there was no need of this circular, because if it is to be implemented, if the circular is to be implemented, the law could have been also implemented. But that doesn't happen, and therefore there is a failure, utter failure on the part of the senior officers in their discharge of duty of supervision and catching the wrong people doing wrong.
Mr.
Corruption,
Pawar?
of course, is always there. That is, corruption has become a day of the rule of the day, and it is not the only police department. Now everybody is in a corrupt way.
So will a circular like this, then, YC Pawar, will a circular like this open up more windows for corruption?
I doubt, because there is no need of such circulars for going for corruption. Corruption can be made without the circulars. Now, in fact, this may help to some extent the builder only, developers only.
How?
Because the police, even non-verbal warrants, while issued for serving, they say that the person is not traceable. Now, all such things will keep on happening. They will find out excuses for going ahead.
So you're saying in spite of this circular, the police will still find excuses not to file FIRs?
Yeah, I say that.
All right, Rohit Gera, come in here. I know that developers have had meetings over the last couple of days on how to deal with this circular. If the Maharashtra government is re-looking at it, then there's obviously something there that they found needs to be re-looked at. Tell me what the developer bodies feel about this circular. Here we have, on one hand, Hemang telling us that it's a good thing, it's the need of the hour. Mr. Pawar telling us that there is corruption in the police and this circular will make no difference at all. Where do developers stand?
Faye, I think as a responsible developer, we are very pained with the kind of experiences that customers have to face at the hands of fly-by-night and unscrupulous elements in this industry. So I think at the outset, it's absolutely necessary to clean up the industry and get rid of all of this horrible treatment that consumers are having to face. Having said that, really the big concern is with the people who are doing a good job, trying to do a good job. The huge concern is, right now the pendulum has swung so far in the other direction when it comes to an anti-developer sentiment. And I'm not saying it's without good cause, in certain cases certainly it's with good reason. But the sentiment is so far against the developer. Even the media, for example, if an FIR is filed, you're already turning around and saying, look, developers guilty, reputations are at stake. We're truly concerned about that.
I'll interrupt you there. We don't all do it. I think that's unfair. We're very careful on this channel, at least about what we say.
I didn't say all the media.
Right.
Faye, I didn't say all the media. I didn't say all the media. Certain parts of the media certainly do that. But the other bigger issue is we are already plagued with a tremendous amount of blackmail and corruption as far as the industry is concerned. Okay, there are people in cahoots with officials who are getting hold of copies of plans, doing all kinds of RTI level blackmail on that. We are now faced with, our concern really is that we're faced with one more potential risk and damage, where if anybody goes ahead, files a complaint, look, the big concern is this is a very technical issue. Okay, so what we would like to say is, it's fine if the Maharashtra government wants to actually prosecute developers for wrongdoing. By all means, they should certainly do it. But our concern is every single police station doesn't necessarily have the technical capability to get into the nuances and to understand what's right, what's wrong. There's lots of documentation to go through, and therefore if they form a separate cell, that's fine. People can go there, file a police complaint, file it in a cell where there are technically competent people who will do due diligence, and only after that is basically done, then file a complaint, which then gets, as far as media and all the other kind of circus then that follows, at least genuine developers are prevented from facing this kind of harassment. I think that's really the big concern.
A special cell that understands, special cell that understands the real estate market. That's a fair point to make. Shirish Deshpande, do you agree that this opens up a window for extortion, opens up a window for intimidation that the police might misuse?
Well, it's a coin with two sides, I would say.
Okay.
I mean, it's like a weapon which you either use it for good purpose or bad purpose. Only thing what we see relief as a consumer activist and as a consumer movement is the act which was not being implemented at the police level, police station level. This circular is going to help it to some extent.
But how will it? We've just had a retired police officer here, a very senior police officer, telling us that this circular will make no difference whatsoever.
It's a matter of opinion. It's a matter of opinion for him.
Okay.
You see, it provides a relief that all police stations are now under obligation, that the IGP himself is saying that yes, you have to. Otherwise, the common man's experience and the flat purchaser's experience, and this is the evidence-based thing I am talking about. In Pune, the Akhil Bharatiya Grahak Panchayat had a survey, and there were lots of complaints. And as the earlier speaker said also, that the moment you go to the police station, they just refuse to accept this complaint, saying that this is a civil matter. Now, at least they have a circular in hand. And no police inspector will ever now dare saying that this is a civil matter. It is a criminal matter. This is what the IGP says. So at least to that extent, no police officer will now dare refusing to accept the complaint. That clarity has been given and issued by this circular. This is the issue.
Ramesh, Prabhu, should all buyers who are now attempting to file FIRs carry a copy of the circular with them to the local police station saying, here, this is what your DGP is saying, so please now file my FIR?
And let us understand, see, Maharashtra Ownership Flat Act has been enacted for the purpose of protecting the consumers. I don't think any police officer can just like that file an FIR. He will definitely investigate. Now, when there is a provision that on so and so date he is saying on the agreement that he is going to give the position of the flat, and he is failing to give it, and he is paying the rent, he is paying the EMI, he is doing everything, and nothing is happening. Now, when he is going for a flat, there is supposed to be given a OC. He is not giving the OC. He is not forming the society. He is not doing anything. Where the consumers will go? You think every consumer need to go to 156(3) of the Criminal Procedure Code and go to the Magistrate Court, linger there for 3 years, and then IO will be appointed investigation officer, and then he will investigate. Then the report will be given. That means the entire purpose of protecting the consumer is getting diluted. So therefore, this GR, whatever has been issued by the circular by the government, is welcome move. It was supposed to be issued long back, better late than never. I think it is a very good move. It is definitely going to strengthen the hand. And of course, this GR need not be carried away. It is, everybody knows now that it is issued. And I think it is a very good move. It should have been done long back, and nothing against the law which has been done. It is as per the law only. Only thing government was not implementing, officer was not implementing. They had an excuse that you go to the civil court and all. Now this circular will definitely give us a strength that yes, your IGP has already issued. So now you file an FIR.
All right, file an FIR. Rajan Bandelkar, I know that NAREDCO had a meeting yesterday as well. You were, NAREDCO, we understand, was made fairly nervous by this circular. Tell us what transpired in the meeting and what the general consensus was among the developers.
See, as everybody told, this circular, all the points were provided in MOFA, whatever the rules are there. But by this circular, what will happen, the developers have a fear that they will be targeted more for each and all and every small reasons also. So basic, we have requested the government as well as Chief Minister, and moreover, now RERA is coming and we are with the government and we are proactively working with the government to get the RERA Act enacted and rules formed as well as model agreement, everything, and most probably within a short period of 3 months it will come. So I think the government should really rethink about this.
No, but issue. You know, Mr. Bandelkar, if this was all part of MOFA already for several decades now, since 1963, what is making you so nervous about this circular, if there's nothing new about the circular? What
happens, you try and understand, in the majority of the cases, the imprisonment is for 3 years or there is a fine. So generally, if any police officer, if they want to file an FIR, they couldn't file directly. Even in RERA also, if you go, the RERA authority will give it. We had a meeting with many government officials also. We explained to them what will happen in this case. The regular developers who are doing a good job today, it's not that everybody is bad.
But why will anybody file an FIR against a developer who's doing a good job?
What happens? See, today there are so many issues. We don't get permissions. We get delayed. That everybody knows that. I don't want to repeat the same thing here. See, the delay is not happened only because, see, any developer doesn't wish to delay his project and spoil his name. But there are market conditions. For example, I will tell you once again, every year we have sand issues.
Okay.
The royalty issue which comes up, there are various majority issues which come up because of that delay happens, and there are, for example, I will give a small example which is not related here. For Kalyan, in Kalyan Corporation, there was a stay for more than 1 year. So automatically the delay in that period, whoever has started their work or got IOD, they couldn't construct or they didn't got any permission. So automatically that period, all the agreement, MOFA, everybody says that.
Hemang, respond to that. You said in the beginning that this is a great move, it's a welcome move. What happens, like it's being pointed out right now, if the delay is because of unavailability of sand, if the delay is because the OC has not been given to the developer or to the building by the BMC or the PMC or the PMRDA, if the delay is because of these reasons, and it very clearly says in the circular that if the developer issues flats without an OC, it should be considered a cognizable offence, which means he will be arrested. What happens if the local authority is not releasing the OC?
Correct. Now see, there is two things which I would like to clarify, is that if the developers are saying that they are good developers, then they need not worry at all. I'll come to the delay part, but as regards, there are so many other aspects also. As regards taking money...
Why don't they have to worry at all?
No, the reason is that if you are a good developer, you would be, implementing the law as stated in MOFA. Okay, you will be taking money, you will be executing agreements. We've got cases after cases where money has been taken and agreements have not been executed. No documents have been shown, no plans have been shown. Section 3 of MOFA very clearly says that these are the specifications, these are the documents, title documents have to be seen. There have been flat purchasers who have been writing letters after letters, but they have not been given anything, and they have been getting letters after letters that now this is the installment you pay, interest, you do not do that, termination. See, let us realize one thing, that the flat purchasers have been taken for a ride for a very, very long time. Okay, so let us not go only about the delay part. There has been cases where money has been taken in crores and nothing has been delivered.
Okay.
So delay part as regards...
So in those particular cases, all right, I want to get one more legal view. Avikshit, come in here. Is there room, do you agree that if a developer is just actioning MOFA, that he has nothing to worry about?
I am really not sure on this point. Actually, I'll just go back to the original point. I may sound a little pessimist here, but I am not sure what difference will this circular lie. Because, see, we are talking of a scenario where there was a mandate of the parliament, and the department failed to adhere to that mandate. And now we are talking of a scenario where there is a letter which is an interdepartmental letter which has been issued, and we are all hopeful that it will make a difference. I really don't see much difference happening. That's the first point.
Okay.
And again, there is no differentiation that has been done here. The FIR needless will be filed. Subsequently, whether you are a genuine developer, you are a good developer, will be a part of the prosecution. So I don't see any differentiation that has been made in this circular, and if at all there is a FIR filed, then it is a part of the prosecution basis which will be able to differentiate whether someone is genuine or someone is not genuine. And I don't see any of these points being addressed, and I am sure that there will be a clarificatory notification that will be issued later on by the government on this point, and it cannot be left in the way it is worded at the moment, because it is very vague and it is quite wide as of now.
All right. I want to just read out to our viewers what the circular says. It says the Maharashtra government recognizes all provisions of MOFA and, of course, the MRTP Act. This was in Marathi. This is an English translation. If the developer doesn't deliver projects on time, constructs illegally, issues flats without an OC, or deviates from the approved layout, doesn't hand over building rights within 4 months of forming a new society, they will be considered violations. The Maharashtra police will have a right to register these as cognizable offences. Illegal construction, duping buyers and non-registration of the conveyance deed will be considered an offence. The police will take suitable action in such cases, offences, FIRs in this regard. Rohit Gera, do you, I want to circle back to the point that good developers following the law have nothing to worry about. Do you agree?
Fair, I disagree. Look, as far as we're concerned, in our projects, there's absolutely no issues. But in spite of that, we've had a situation where we had a local corporator trying to shake us down for a substantially large amount of money. It delayed my OC for a project for 4 months. I had customers who were waiting. I didn't hand over the apartments to them. But yeah, the fact of the matter is, we were able to afford, as a developer, well capitalized, we were able to afford to hold off and not succumb to that kind of situation. Unfortunately, many developers are not in that condition. And I think the other aspect, I think really where the solution needs to be is we need to do together, developers and all the consumer activists, we need to together educate the consumer to say, look, MOFA also says that a developer shall not give possession without OC, and it equally says that a buyer shall not take possession. So, you know, I think we need to together educate the consumer about his rights, about what they're, you know, they should not go ahead and pay money. The developer cannot shake them down. The developer cannot strong arm them, threatening them interest and so on, because that goes beyond their rights. So I think really the focus should be there, rather than to talk about using a stick. I think educating of the end consumer is, I think, a very important aspect.
Educating the end consumer. Shirish Deshpande, I want to ask you this again. What happens when the delay is not the developer's fault? In that case, if we're looking at a situation where FIRs are filed against the developer, it causes more distress, it causes more delay, projects are not finished. This is a possibility that will lead to even more delays.
Yeah, let me tell you. Now, first thing, let us be very clear about what the law says.
Okay.
Section 13 of MOFA, because of which the whole controversy has arisen now, or the debate that is going on. What does Section 13 of MOFA says? Any promoter who, without reasonable excuse, try to understand, without reasonable excuse, fails to comply with or contravenes the provisions of section so and so, so and so, so and so of MOFA will be punished with imprisonment and all. So that means this important clause is that without any valid excuse or reasonable excuse, if there is any delay,
right,
then only the question of FIR and all that thing will go. So the law is not atrocious, law is very reasonable, law is very modest. So builders have nothing to really worry about. And I can understand. You see, there are circumstances.
So this is my rebut, Mr. YC Pawar. If the law is reasonable and modest, is it actually executed in a reasonable, modest way at police station levels?
No.
What happens at the police station level?
Police station treats it in a way they want to.
Okay.
Depends upon who is the builder, who makes him approach and all that. There are a number of considerations. I would have been more happy if the circular was, if any officer who fails, the station house officer in charge of the police station fails to implement the provisions of law, he should be dealt with, and his supervisory officer should be also held responsible for not getting law implemented. Exactly. I would have been more happy if the circular was reading like this. Now, when law is already in existence and despite that it is not implemented, and then the circular is issued, now like this, the police officers are used to read such circulars and put in a dustbin. Exactly. So I don't have great hopes.
You don't have great hopes. Do you think that the police officers will use this as an opportunity to shake down developers for money?
That might happen, that may not happen. It's ultimately, it depends upon the officer's concern, it depends upon the builder concern, his connections at a higher level. There are a number of things which count together. It is just not one factor upon which all this depends.
Rohit, respond to that.
Faye, you know, I think the big concern again is if you go ahead and file the FIR, trust me, we've been on the ground, we work with the various corporations across multiple cities. The moment there is an issue of a court case or there is an issue about an FIR, nobody in the municipal corporation then wants to process that file. So even if you're in the process of trying to get the OC, the risk is that everybody just takes a hands-off approach. Now, these are realities on the ground, because people then in the various corporations turn around and say, we don't know the nuances, we don't know what the exact situation is, so let it get sorted out legally in the court process, we're going to wait and watch. So this effectively ends up hurting and harming that end consumer who in the first place you're trying to protect.
This is an attempt to scare the consumers. This is only the argument to scare the consumers and try to get away from the issue.
No, besides this, I am talking about the conveyance also. What about conveyance? Forget about OC, forget about the corporations. What about happening to the conveyance? Conveyance is your baby, which could be delivered as per MOFA in 4 months' time. Societies are not formed, conveyance is not done. That is absolutely under your control. Then why the developers are not doing that?
And Mr. Gera has been talking about educating the consumers about their rights and responsibilities. May I also suggest that there is first a need to educate the builders about their own obligations under the law which they must perform.
I completely agree with you on that point. We're on the same page.
And we will join hands with you definitely on that.
As far as the issue that pertains to conveyance, look, all I'm saying is that if there is indeed wrongdoing, okay, go ahead and prosecute the developer if there is wrongdoing. I'm only concerned, and we're only concerned about misuse and further creating more problems in a situation. Why can't we have a solution which addresses the concerns of the developers as well as addresses the concerns of the consumers?
Mr. Gera, here I would just like to...
Right, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Deshpande.
You see, so far now we are talking about the possible misuse of the law, but all this while we have been concerned about non-use of the law. You see, and the reasons for that also you know it. Why the police officers have not been accepting the complaints? The reasons for that are not too far to seek. Everybody knows that every builder takes care of the local police station very well, and that is why no consumer complaint is entertained at that level, and they are shown the door.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't use the word every. You can say some, you can say many, you can say most, but please don't say every. I think that's unfair.
Very neat.
Let me ask Mr. YC Pawar. Mr. Pawar, you smiled at that particular comment that police, I won't say every builder, but let's say the local police are taken care of. Is that true?
Generally, no developer, no builder can go ahead without the cooperation of the local police station.
That cooperation is a very mild word he has
what do you, okay, so define cooperation. What do you mean by cooperation of the local police station? What does that mean? What is cooperation of the local police station?
Cooperation means there are number of issues. Now, as construction is going on, after 9 o'clock or 9 p.m., you are not supposed to make noise. The builder wants to finish the work, goes in the night and does the work. Now that noise pollution, nearby residents complain. So police station van goes there, wireless van. So, and they are given something. I know it for certain that even from my own building, a complaint against the noise was made. The control room was saying that there is no noise. And one of the retired DGs was saying that there is a noise going on, you hear on the phone, but still the control room was saying. So all these things can be defined very easily, and we are expert in that defining anything on the earth.
Okay, so everything can be bent, everything can be defined. Rajan Bandelkar, respond to that, the fact that developers look after and sort of settle the local police. So really, it doesn't matter how many circulars we see, it's not going to change anything on the ground.
What happens today? Every land, if you see, even the land is on our name. In wherever you go, there are the local people who are there. Local means the old landowners. They tell it is our possession. The father has sold the land when I was not knowing. So for anything, they start a dispute. See, the people who are sitting here, I will tell them, it is a say also, ki just build a single home.
You're dodging my question, Mr. Bandelkar. My question was simply this. Are developers sort of settling and looking after local police stations? Is that part of the job? In order to get a project done, do you have to make sure that the local police is looked after?
Basically, not every developer, but yes, of course. See, when you try and understand, it is not only a police has to look after it. Wherever we go, everybody knows how the file moves. So I don't want to specify anything here. But,
no, go ahead. This is the panel to specify, Mr. Bandelkar.
But
you should specify on this.
Yes, so that's what I'm coming to you. Fortunately, we have got excellent commissioner at Mumbai, Thane as well as Kalyan in the main MMR region, and we have got very good chief minister who was very proactive. So you have
no problems at all in the MMR?
You have
no problems at all?
On approval.
Good work. I think why they should doubt the system, why they should doubt the police, why they should doubt the government. If the government is there to protect every consumer, every citizen.
No, I'm saying,
I will just give you one example without quoting the name of the developer, because I don't want to quote, but I will just tell you the effect of this circular. There is a developer whose possession is in September 2016 due. So it is practically, if you say 3 months are there, he has received a letter from the people that Ki Baba, your possession is in September, this is the circular is given, you see to it that give it in time. Means 3 months before only, it is like see, customers have started. I am not telling, you see, earlier everybody has told Ki Baba, there are some people, some developer who has taken customer for a ride. For that now, central government as well as state government, they are very proactive and they are bringing a RERA Act, and once the RERA comes, it has given all the provisions, it has given all the powers.
Are developers and police in cahoots? Do you have to look after your local level policeman in order to finish construction? That was my question.
Can I answer that?
Okay.
The answer is obvious. The answer is obvious. I think we don't have to seek it. Only thing I would just want to make one point.
Okay.
Here, since all the developers are also here, police authorities are also here, retired maybe, and all that. The question is, let us admit that the whole system has become a rotten system, and I think the efforts have to be directed that we all stakeholders put their heads together and see how the system can be corrected. I mean, if we put together all the things, and if we can apply our mind, let there be politicians, let there be police authorities, let there be developers, promoters, and the consumer bodies. Let us put the things together. Nobody wants to pay the money for nothing. Okay? It is because the system has become corrupt system. So let us try to correct the system and have a good system. What is the problem? Usually the developers and promoters never care to correct the system. They only try to focus, my project, I must push it through. That's all. But attempts must be made to correct the system. If we correct the system, entire community gets benefited. It is even the developers will get benefited, consumers will get benefited.
Sir, it is, I think, for the first
idealistic, but at the same time, some efforts have to be made in this direction.
Rohit Gera, you wanted to respond to whether or not you have to look after the local police in order to finish your project. Go ahead.
So I want to state this. We have never had to look after the local police in any of our projects over all the years that I've been doing real estate development. Okay. Okay. And I'm stating this for a fact. This, in terms of proof, I can't give you any evidence because we've never had to do anything of the sort. Having said that, we also understand that there are some police officers who are not the straightest, just as there are some developers who are not the straightest.
But Rohit, then if you've never had an issue with corruption, if you've never had an issue with corruption in the police force, what's worrying you now? Why would it start now? Do you want me to believe that this circular that has been sent out will now cause corruption in a force that you've never faced corruption with up till now in all the years you've been in real estate?
Here's the point, right? If you have a local corporator who's deciding to try and shake you down, he's going to then now utilize this, go into the police station, force some FIR to be written down, and that's going to end up then getting your municipal corporation to be in a further problem there. So it's a cascading effect of what goes on.
Okay, so
and I don't speak. So and one second, I'm not speaking just as for myself. Okay, I'm speaking on behalf of the industry and the community of developers. So different people have different situations, and I think we need to look at the entire.
So that clause of reasonable excuse.
Usually we find, with due respect to some of the exceptional corporators, I would say that we find these corporators always in the pockets of the builders.
Who's in whose pocket? Hemang Jariwala.
Sir, I don't want to go into who's into whose pocket. My simple question is, let us not go and divert the whole thing into...
builders and promoters, they are always hand in glove. It's an open secret.
Shirish, I think let us not go into whose pocket who's there, but I think I am coming to the point that whenever we are talking about filing of an FIR or about this circular, today, I think for the first time the consumers are feeling that they are having something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
At least redress their grievances, because today if we see,
you need to go to consumer court, you need to go to Juris Corp.
Just a minute. Because what is happening today, the consumer courts are clogged with cases against the builder.
Absolutely.
Correct? Now, let us talk about illegal construction.
But how will this change?
Because why are we saying...
Hemang, so if the consumer court is clogged with cases against developers right now, and we're looking at consumer court takes an average of 3 to 4 years to reach the end of a particular case, how will this circular, other than sentiment, and for those of us who track the stock market, we know sentiment does a lot of things except actually change fundamentals. How will this circular change anything?
It will help.
Just because I can file an FIR, and I could always file an FIR, how will it help?
See, as one of the panelists just said, that a builder has to give possession in September of 16. Today the consumer has written to them with this circular that please understand that if you do not deliver or you do not give me the possession as promised by you, this is what we are going to do next.
But okay, so let's take that argument.
This has never ever happened.
So a developer who has not given permission because he has either run out of money or he has not been given his OC by the local authority or has some other excuse, valid or not, that's a separate thing, will suddenly give possession because he's received this letter?
You and me both know, we have been on this thing, that delay is not only because of the OCs. The builders have, let me not use the word, but this is what happened is the money which was given for a project A has gone in buying a few
has been diverted.
Other lands, because that being the raw material, and because of lack of funds, the building is not getting completed.
But how will the FIR change that?
The FIR gets changed because see, it is the first time that the builders are up on their seats, because now they know that if it is high time that they get up and start functioning the way they have promised, the rosy picture and representation whichever they have made to the consumers, they better deliver or they have to go to jail.
Okay, Mr. Deshpande, is that true?
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, you are asking what this circular will serve. Let me tell you that today's debate itself is the outcome of this circular. Never before MOFA was so thoroughly discussed.
It was, so you don't watch our channel often enough. We discuss it every night.
But even this circular,
but today I agree.
mind you, this circular has triggered the debate on the liability of the developers.
In fact, Mr. Deshpande, I'll go one step further and tell you that because we've been making such a hue and cry, and Hemang knows, Avikshit knows, because we've been making such a hue and cry on this channel about FIRs not being registered, I'd say this circular is a result of the noise that we have made. It's not the other way around.
So that itself, no, that is what I'm saying, because you are asking the question as to what this circular is going to do it. So this is what it has done already, I would say.
Okay.
It has triggered the much needed debate, and it has educated a lot of viewers about the consumers' rights and the liability of the developers.
What I would say as regards the FIR is concerned, or the circular needs to clarify is, because there is one thing which we think is that once an FIR, which the full form means the first information report. Even the Supreme Court has said that please register an FIR and then inquire.
Yes.
That inquiry is a very, very important thing. So
the question is, will the police go out and just arrest someone based on the FIR?
I am coming to that only. There is no need to see, because this is a case, if at all, of cheating. There is nothing to recover. Okay, it is documented. Inquiry has to be done. And after a thorough inquiry, as one of the panelists said, that there may be a special cell which understands this subject. And thereafter you may take further steps as per the provision of
in
law.
an ideal world, Mr. Pawar, in an ideal world, in the real world, will it happen that way? Will the police first file the FIR, go do a thorough inquiry, then decide whether or not to make an arrest, or will they just pick somebody up because they have an FIR in hand?
Any police officer who wants to work genuinely will keep on doing it without any circular. A police officer who does not want to do something positive, he will keep on defying all these circulars. And I am positive, and I am making a statement with full responsibility that we are capable of defying anything, including the High Court orders also. So let us not get into that. I am sure what Mr. Deshpande was talking about, the correcting the system needs to be corrected. That is, there is no other opinion than that. Point is key, how each one of us in the system is corrupt. Now who will change the system and who will start it?
No, for that, Mr. Pawar, for that, I suggested that all of us must put our heads together. We must all come together.
Well, we're all together right now, Mr. Deshpande. This platform is an exercise in putting our head. In fact, let me add one more person to this entire conversation. And this is an average home buyer. Bhimsen Sharma from Andheri has picked up the phone and called us to add something to our debate. Bhimsen, go ahead. What would you like to say?
हेलो
Yes, Bhimsen, we can hear you. Go ahead.
जी मैम मैं अंधेरी ईस्ट मुंबई से बोल रहा हूँ
जी
मैंने 2013 में मकान लिया था जब प्रोजेक्ट की 85% प्रोजेक्ट जो बन चुका था
जी
आज 2016 तक तीन साल में 15% प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट करने में बिल्डर को 3 साल लगे और अभी जो नया रूल आया कि एफआईआर पुलिस में लेता कौन है? कॉमन मैन अगर एफआईआर करने जाता है और वो भी बिल्डर के अगेंस्ट, तो कोई भी पुलिस में कोई एफआईआर नहीं लेता है, तो कॉमन मैन जाएगा कहाँ?
दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. शर्मा जी, क्या आपने एफआईआर दर्ज करने की कोशिश की?
नहीं, दर्ज करने की कोशिश नहीं की, क्योंकि बिल्डर डराता है, हमको धमकाता है बिल्डर.
This is the problem. And actually, you know, Mr. Pawar is right. The circular should have actually been addressed to the police, saying, please file FIRs. This is not what it says. It just reiterates the law one more time. Mr. Pawar, what is the solution to this problem? The average person who's afraid to go to the police station and attempt to file an FIR.
Solution is very simple. the moment senior officers are held responsible for not implementing the law and circular by the station house officer, senior officer sees to it that he will have to get the job done. Because that is the only way the police functions, only if the supervisory officers discharge their duties properly. A police station in charge will always try to dodge with laws and for his obvious purpose. But senior officers, if they start taking interest, I remember when Mr. Rivera was the police commissioner and we were all deputy commissioners, see, compulsory visits for a deputy commissioner to the police station, each police station to be visited for 3-4 hours in every week. And that had a definite impact, and people will be remembering that the era during that which the police functioning was going on. Now, see, there is no other option except the supervisory officer has to discharge his duty.
I really don't understand. There is a housing department which is implementing the Maharashtra Ownership Flat Act, and police is supposed to take the cognizance of it, and therefore the police has issued a circular saying that the consumers will run pillar to post and they cannot go to the court and all, and file an FIR and have an investigation, and thorough investigation will be made. And then UD is coming all of a sudden and saying that it is put on hold. UD, in what way it is connected, I am not able to understand. Where is that UD is coming into? UD is going to approve the plan. In fact, UD should be very happy that whatever implementation or the illegal things are happening, which they are not able to control, there is some police officer and the consumers are trying to do a check and balance. And today, 3 lakh buildings are illegal, 50,000 buildings are illegal in Mumbai, and we are giving a Supreme Court, affidavit, and then UD or the BMC is not able to do. And there is a consumer who is going to tell them that this is, sir, going wrong, and do an FIR, do an investigation, find out. I don't know why UD is coming and stopping this circular. In what way UD is connected? Let any other learned person respond to this.
Anybody wants to take a stab at it? Yes.
Faye, see, I will tell you very honestly, the consumer wants his house. You try and understand. Filing an FIR and... One second. Well, let me complete.
So respond to what Ramesh said. Respond to what Ramesh said, which is that many illegal buildings in the city of Mumbai. At some point, we're going to have to get, receive the karma for what we have done for so long. Mr. Bandelkar.
That's what I'm telling. I am telling you the illegal developers who are doing, we are never supporting them, or we are never sheltering them also. What even Gera also told, Rohit Gera told, it is also very clear that we are there with the developers who follow the rules and work according to the approved plans and everything.
How many associations have even delisted these type of builders who have done
very good
question.
Mr. Bandelkar and Rohit Gera, can you vouch for every one of your members? Every building of every member?
Have an introspection and see, you have a list of people who have
Mr. Bandelkar, you start. Rajan Bandelkar, NAREDCO, are all NAREDCO builders, do you verify everything that they are building? Are they all building legal buildings? I will give you examples right now, if you want. If you want to stand by.
Even I can join also.
No. Of course, we see to it that we take their all basic permissions, we have our rules and regulations, but if anybody brings to our notice, somebody has done illegal building, we will suspend his membership.
You will suspend his membership?
Yeah.
I would. Rohit Gera, does CREDAI suspend memberships over illegal buildings?
How many memberships you have suspended?
Let me answer your question straight on. Do we go ahead and check and verify, and do we go ahead and certify every single developer that every single project that he's doing is absolutely as per the approvals? Certainly not. That isn't, unfortunately, none of the associations have any kind of judicial authority or power. We are self-regulated, okay? And that is the reality that we have to live with. We are trying very hard as associations to try and raise the overall standard in an industry which
Rohit, if you received
difficult.
complaints, if you received specific complaints to your consumer grievance cell about developers who've built illegal buildings, who've delayed buildings, who've not had, who've handed over buildings without OCs, various complaints, I can give you a list. Will you then delist that developer from CREDAI?
So our first step that we do is we try and resolve the problem from the consumer's point of view. Our objective as a grievance redressal cell, the objective is very clear: try and resolve the dispute, right? We are not in the business of, and we don't have the authority to go ahead and take action of any other sort. As long as we are able to resolve the complaint that the consumer is facing, we feel the job is done. And that's the approach that we take.
Well, Mr. Prabhu and Mr. Deshpande don't seem to agree with you. Shirish Deshpande?
I would say these consumers, which consumer wants to file an FIR, which consumer wants to do everything? He has hard-earned money, he has saving, he wants a house, he wants to live happily, and none of the consumer wants, because they are doing something illegal, they are going against the interest of the consumer who has paid crores of rupees collectively, and they are diverting the funds and they are not giving what is required, and afterwards then only they will file an FIR, they will only make a complaint. True. I think unnecessarily the builders are creating a havoc that consumers are, unnecessarily filing a complaint. None of the consumers will do that.
I will just come back to the point.
What Mr. Prabhu is trying to say, that the association should be welcoming on the contrary.
Absolutely.
Rather than saying that they should be misused and the builders would be taken to task. So I think if the associations feel that the
I will
builders...
just come back to the point which Mr. Gera was making, and the question that was posed to Mr. Gera. The issue is, again, if the builders' bodies, whether it is CREDAI or any other body, he said that they are only trying to redress the grievances if the complainant comes with that complaint and all. He has admitted that. But I think they should go much beyond that. If you are a self-regulating body, first thing you must have a code of conduct. Usually each professional body is supposed to have the code of conduct. Do they have one is my first question. If they don't have, it is time that they do it. And so try to promote, not only preach. First is preach and then promote and practice the fair business practices. This is a much needed thing in this industry, because this industry has been maligned sufficiently by their own acts of commissions and omissions. This is what I would suggest, and I would like to have a response from Mr. Gera on this.
Rohit Gera, respond.
Sure. So I think I completely agree. And the fact is that we do have a code of conduct and we've had it for a long time. Look, I think it's time for us to also recognize that in order to satisfy one greedy developer's greed, okay, it takes more than one person. A greedy developer cannot satisfy his greed in isolation. Whether it is a greedy consumer, whether it who's buying an illegally built apartment, whether it is a greedy official, whether it's somebody else, it takes two people. So let's not go ahead and say that there's only one party involved in all of this. And let's try and deal with that. I think we do have a problem. We do have a problem at a much larger level. I completely agree with the point made earlier that we need to sit together, we need to put our heads together and really find a solution, because truly for a professional real estate developer, the worst thing and the last thing that we want is to have to defend the industry in a situation like this.
All right, so we're going to take, okay, fair enough, Rohit.
To reach out and help solve this problem.
All right, fair enough, Rohit. I'll also point out one more thing. As a middle-class home buyer myself, I'll tell you that, filing an FIR or going to a police station or going to a court is the last resort. It's the last thing I want to do. I actually just want to be able to pay my EMIs, move into my home, go to my job on a daily basis. Nobody wants to get involved with law and order in this country. If a consumer is having to do that, it's because they've been left with no choice whatsoever. Sanjeev is on the phone line. He's a consumer. Sanjeev, go ahead.
Yeah, we tried going to police station many times.
Okay.
And they always denied doing FIR for us.
Okay.
Then we contacted EOW and we submitted an application there, and they also took around 2 months time to register FIR.
2 months time?
Yeah, it took us around 6 to 7 months to register the FIR.
What was the case? Who were you registering the FIR against?
Yeah, it's 2009 we booked the industrial units at Kandivali Charco. And he was supposed to give us the possession in 2012. And then later he shifted that, possession date to 2013 December. But we waited up till 2015 middle. He stopped the work at the site in 2013. Nothing was happening at the site. Then we approached the police station around 2015 middle. But nothing happened, and it was just keep on going ahead. We met a developer many times. We went to his office. We waited for hours together at his office, but no response from his side. And many times he met us, and then he gave us all, wrong promises that I'll do this, I'll do that. Nothing happened. Then we around 2015, and we approached EOW. And EOW started doing all research on the project. And then they shifted, they did all the research, and they came to Charco police station for registering FIR. And in April, we could do the FIR.
All right. But I don't think FIR has been done. Arrest has not been done. Whether arrest has been done?
Till today, arrest has not been done.
There are so many FIRs have been filed against the builder, and investigation is going on. So why builders should be so worried about
why should builders be so worried? I want to first solve this problem. YC Pawar, tell us this for people watching at home who face that problem, where they have gone repeatedly to the police station and received no response, received no help from the police. What is the course of action? What would you advise them to do?
No, course of action is very simple, as I have been emphasizing upon. Because ultimately you issue circulars, you have separate cells, you have
So what is the course of action from the consumer? From Sanjeev, who was attempting to get an FIR filed and not getting it done?
Consumer can always go to a senior officer, first immediate superior officer, next superior officer, and finally the man who issues such circulars. Go to him and show him.
Go to the DGP. Go to the Director General of Police.
In fact, I may just like to add here. That the Pune Consumer Organization, that is Akhil Bharatiya Grahak Panchayat, which actually initiated this whole process, they have been told, this is what I was told, that in case any police officer does not register the FIR when the consumer has a complaint against the promoter or the builder, then that police officer's name has to be reported to him. As Mr. Pawar has rightly said, that he has also said that, although it is not put in so many words in the circular. So, ultimately, the accountability is somewhere established, and so if the police officers refuse to do that, straight away the complaint can be lodged with the concerned IGP who has issued the circular.
I would have liked the circular to actually have said that, which it does not say. It's very weakly worded circular. If the case is actually to bring corrupt or lazy police officers to the book, it doesn't say so at all. The big debate this evening. The circular that came out of the Director General of Police of Maharashtra that said that if you're facing a project delay or any problem with your developer, go ahead and file an FIR. It will be taken as a cognizable offence, which means a criminal offence. We've had various views from all of the stakeholders on the panel who said that it's a good move, it needs to be cleaned up, the system is corrupt, this actually opens up the room for a lot more corruption. What I want to do here, in the time that we have left on this show, is offer suggestions to the Maharashtra Urban Development Ministry that's relooking at this circular. If we can put in a suggestion right now that will make the system better, what would that be? I want to start with Mr. Pawar. What would that be for that circular to be improved, to be more efficient, to make the police more efficient? What would you like to add to it?
No, it's very painful because the complainant, he goes to a police station, complaint is not taken, goes to a senior officer, does not take interest, go to next senior officer. Now, what if a complainant should be is expected to do? How many places he should go? And finally, even if the FIR is registered, and he will keep on going to the police station, and police will keep on telling him that it is under investigation. It is. So, for this, only remedy is that all senior officers and supervisory officers will have to discharge their duties and then go to the last man. That is the only solution.
To hold the police officers accountable on some point
at
this circular, if it is relooked at,
they need to be given exemplary punishment so that other officers at least refrain from doing something.
What is exemplary punishment for a police officer?
No, for example, see, there is an order of punishment let down. As per depending upon your side posting is, I beg your pardon, earlier it used to be punishment. Nowadays, side posting is also not a punishment.
All right, so the
punishment is either removal from the service or use Article 311 Indian Constitution, dismiss the man without inquiry. That will help.
It's time for hard measures on both ends, for the police and for developers. Kamal Joshi, who is a developer himself, has picked up the phone and called us. Our phones are not just buzzing with consumers this evening. Kamal Joshi, go on. Go ahead, we're listening.
Yeah, am I talking to the lady Faye?
Yes, this is Faye D'Souza speaking.
Yeah, Faye D'Souza. I'm not reacting with her. Am I?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
This is Faye speaking.
Like
You're on the panel.
One window clearance before anything comes.
Okay.
Because all the municipal people are more corrupt than what we are.
Okay, so there are degrees of corruption. They are more corrupt than you are.
Okay. Who corrupts them? Who corrupts them? That is the issue.
Can you
believe
corrupts
them?
And so how many, and for, in your ready reckoner it is written, 600 rupees out of pocket suburbs and 1,000 rupees out of pocket in the Mumbai, main city area.
Right.
How can we perform and how can data come? If I am in, the municipal commissioner also is supposed to be in.
Okay, so hold local authorities as accountable as well, and make sure that the single window clearance is available before any of these circulars are implemented. That's Kamal Joshi's
I would suggest
constructions.
Yeah, I would suggest that for the improvement of this circular, let the officers who are going to investigate, let there be a proper training to them. Let the circular speak about the, giving a specific format as to what are the things required to be attached to that, so that the clarity is there. Otherwise, consumers, as builders are also saying, any consumer will come and do anything and then file an FIR. That may not happen. There has to be specific inquiry minimum. The circular should also have the guidelines, and then there has to be proper training to even the police inspector, because there is a ATS, there is a special squad. So let there be a special cell which will investigate.
Special cell for real estate, a special regulator for real estate, a special court and a special cell.
Yes, the UD department should come out with a very clear thing, as Mr. Pawar has been repeatedly saying, make the senior inspector accountable for filing an FIR in the first place, and to inquire into a time-bound manner, say within 6 months, to come out with either there is a case, or it is not a case and a B summary is filed.
All right, Rohit Gera, what is your suggestion?
Okay, I think a separate special cell is probably the answer, where you have trained people, where they have access to technical expertise, whether legal, whether retired judges, and so on. So I think certainly a separate cell is something which is very will be very welcome. The other aspect, I think, is the issue in terms of some of the media. And therefore, and this whole issue about FIR raised, and you have headlines all over the place. By all means, go ahead, publish information when you're filing an official complaint. But just an FIR becoming news, I think there's a serious concern there. We need to address that as well.
Rohit, if there is a need then for a special court, a special regulator, a special cell of police to handle real estate because it's a complicated matter. We also need special journalists to handle real estate because it's a complicated matter. Thankfully, that's a wish that you've already been granted. Right? This is a channel that focuses only on real estate. Avikshit Moral, what's your addition to that?
I think one thing we'll have to keep in mind is eventually the remedies that we're looking under this notification cannot be granted by a criminal court. So it's all fair and square when we say we'll put a developer behind bars, but the final answer is, are we achieving anything that we want? As in, is the consumer finally getting?
We are achieving. See what is happening.
See, the criminal court cannot direct a developer to give possession. Right. Eventually, we have to agree to the fact that it is the civil court. He'll have to give us effective remedy.
Eventually, remedy can only be gotten from the civil.
Exactly.
No, but there has to be a scare wherein the system of
so it's a precautionary measure.
So the industry cannot run on the basis of scare. I beg to differ, but you cannot make our industry perform on the basis of making people scared.
No, MOFA has given that.
Of fear, exactly.
In 1963, the MOFA has categorically
very quickly,
stated.
I've completely run out of time. Very quickly now, Mr. Bandelkar, I didn't ask you for your suggestion. If you can give us a 30-second suggestion.
See, the RERA is already coming. So why to unnecessarily hurry and create more panic when already the markets are not good?
So if your suggestion is don't do the circular, I don't think that's a suggestion that's going to be taken up. All right, we've run out of time, but these are the suggestions for the government. If the government is listening, and I know you are because there are members of the government who watch this channel very closely, senior police officers have to be made accountable for FIRs that are filed, for investigations that are opened or that are not opened in these cases. They have to be police officers who are trained specifically to handle real estate, either in a special cell or a special set of police officers to handle the problem. And of course, we need to relook at the wordings of the circular. If it's meant to bring police officers and make them more accountable, it doesn't say so right now. That's a wrap on the Urban Debate. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a very interesting 1 hour. Our conversation stays open. Contact details are on your screen. You can reach me personally on Twitter. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.